Why is that not going? Oh.
It's 4:30. Call a meeting to order. Is there any change to the agenda, Chad? Okay,
Nope.
I'll call for a motion to adopt agenda.
Move. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Adopt 4:30. Call a meeting to order.
All right, my bad.
Is there any,
Keep going.
You got you twice, Mike.
any objection? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. I see nobody here for public input. Wastewater treatment plant updates. Ben?
Oh, good afternoon. There's really not too much that I'm going to add to the notes. We are going to try putting off taking the north digester down for the winter, and then the next couple of weeks to get the paint chiseled off. I feel that the way the cover is on that digester, they won't be able to reach like a quarter of the tank. And I'm worried that some of that stuff will flake off and get into our pumps and make our lives miserable in winter. So we're just going to punt on that. And if things do happen where we need to take it down in winter, we will. But right now, they would have to take the cover off to access those points. So we're going to hopefully get through the winter. And then in spring, when they got to rip the cover off anyway to redo the coating, that's when we'll clean the tank out. Let's see here. And then last month, when we were talking about the gate off of Werner Allen, we did get the numbers from Donahue on what it would be potentially. And it was like 200,000 with their engineering and all this other stuff. And that is way too expensive. So we're going to punt. We're going to try looking at other alternatives on taking care of that. With the Mill Street project, Werner Allen project, we don't have the funds available. I believe Judy went over that during the financial stuff. So we're going to hopefully be able to take care of that, but it might not be next year. And then we're still working on getting a new employee hired. I sent the prime candidate our benefits and stuff, so he's gonna look at those compared to where he currently is and see if he wants the job. So hopefully within the next couple days we'll know, but we'll see. Hopefully the next meeting I'll have a new employee. Does anybody have any other questions on my write-up, or? I know we've got a tight schedule tonight, so.
Sounds good to me.
All right. All right. Well, thank you.
Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, the next thing I have is consider request for additional street light at the intersection of West Pine and Dickinson Streets. It's an oddball corner. It don't really follow. The street jumps off about a half a block there.
Yep.
And it is, I've driven up there in the dark once or twice. It is darkish because it's not a straight through street, so.
I agree with you. That's really dark. That's really
Yeah,
dark
it
on
is.
that street right there. I walked it a number of times at night. It is
We
dark.
should
there.
put it in there, Mike.
I was just gonna bring up that street so you can kind of see the offset. But like Mike was talking about, there's an offset right there. And then, where's the electrical? I'm not sure if this is gonna give us the road lights. It shows the poles, so there's a pole here.
There is a street light on one of the other streets.
Yep.
Um,
Down by
that's
Dexter.
probably the
By Dexter,
half
yeah.
quarter block away,
The other short one.
and that's pretty well lit up, but
But the proposal from the, from even the homeowners, they were saying a street light on the existing pole would be fine.
Yep.
So another pole would not be necessary for utilities to put in. I did ask Jason Bissett, the cost for that. So a 55 watt LED fixture to that pole is going to be about $5 or $6 a month to add that to the
Street light on.
street light fund. So
Mhm.
You looking for a motion
I
to
would move that we approve that and install it.
second that?
motion made and seconded to put an additional street light at the corner of Pine and Dickinson. Any other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. The next item I see is review proposals and award a contract for snow removal services, I believe.
we did publish our annual snow removal requests to help us with certain parking lots and just the kind of some of the downtime when our guys are in between plowing. John Rowell from Rowell Auto Body and Snow Plowing and Mid-State Asphalt were pretty much neck and neck, depending on which piece of equipment they're talking about, or, you know, the neglected sidewalks. They're pretty much neck to neck. So I did talk to Luke about it. He's been extremely happy with Rowell's so far. He's been very responsive, and it sounds like the communication has been very, very good over the years. So since everything's so neck and neck, we have had a good relationship with Rowell's. Luke is suggesting, and I'm recommending to the committee, or to the board, that we award the 2020, 2021 snow removal contract to Rowell's again this year.
Yeah, I'll call for motion to award the contract to Rowell.
I make a motion that we can award the snowplow contract to Rouse.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Director's report.
I don't have anything exciting to really point out, unless anybody has any questions on the report. Otherwise, the only other considerations I got, I'm looking at for next month already. I believe our next month meeting, just the way the months fall, we will have, because the council meeting is on December 8th, and we have the committee meetings the week before, so our December meeting will be on November 30th next month. So you just mark your calendars for that. That's all I got, unless anybody's got any questions on the memo.
move to adjourn.
How's everything,
Oh,
Go ahead.
how's everything going with the leaf pickup with the tint claws and stuff, everything?
Tint claws are good. We did have one set that cracked. A year or two ago, one of our sets cracked and we welded it, repaired it, and it's been fine. The second set did the same thing. So we're sending that in just this last week to get repaired. Hopefully be back this week, so we'll have both sets going again. But they've been going around and doing their thing like they normally do.
I haven't had as many complaints this year as I did when we first started doing it with the mess on the streets and stuff. I don't have anybody actually say anything to me this year.
Okay.
In other years, they're always complaining that it didn't pick up clean. They'd rather see the vacuum out there.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, I haven't had nothing.
They're out and the vacuum's behind it, or the sweeper's behind
Sweeper,
it,
yeah.
doing their thing. It takes time to clean it up. So, and I've had a couple of comments in the office that we just go address, nothing major.
I'll tell you, after those winds the other night,
Huh.
Wyman Street and Persia Arrow was crystal clear. And the whole half of my yard's clean.
Quite a
Yeah,
few
I
of them
seen-
came off the trees, I think.
I've seen the streets sweeper out
Just
quite
disappeared.
often. Run past the house all the
Yeah.
time.
So, yeah, so we've got one set going right now, our second set of Tinks claws. Once we get them back, we'll get them back out and going and, and so you guys, have the input. If anybody asks you, compared to the old way with the vacuum, for those who are new, the reason why they're not using the vacuum anymore is because of the accident that happened several years ago and the state and other legal entities stating that having that machine in front with that pipe going past the window is an obstruction of the driver. And they said that can't be used anymore for safety reasons. So that's one reason why we changed over the tink claws. Yep, the vacuum, if you're going slow, if it's good conditions and it's dry, sure, they pick up great. But when it's frozen or when they're wet, the vacuum doesn't work quite as good. And that's when the tink claws work out really good, because if the piles are frozen, those tink claws can just grab and go. So pros and cons both ways, but as long as we can come around with the sweeper, which they do, they clean them up. So
Yeah, they had an accident, I think it was in Neenah, that instigated the whole thing with the vacuums. I don't know how you could get hit by the vacuum, but somebody did.
He was wearing earphones
Bugs,
and
yeah.
whatnot.
well, regardless, I mean, quite a few communities in the valley, do it this way. Mike brought up a point, and we did watch the video from Green Bay
Yep.
where they start on the curb, but then they push it into the street and then follow up with the tink claws. So Green Bay does the same thing with the tink claws, but they start having their residents put it on the curb. DPW comes by, pulls it off the curb, and then picks it up with the tink claws like we do. So to do something like that, we would need another piece of machinery, another man to follow through with that process.
Yeah, what I thought in Green Bay is I thought they had like a broom on the side of their tink claws. So I didn't know if they could just push that off. And then, because their tink claws, when I saw them, looked almost like there was a broom on the side.
Yeah.
I didn't know if maybe, and then pick it up. That's why I brought it up to Chad. See if I saw it right. It seems to work pretty good there too.
So, but that continues, and we'll keep on going as long as we need to. Anything else?
Okay,
Next month agenda items yet, or?
Next month, I don't have anything on the topic right now, but as usual, if something comes up.
I'm not usually here for this committee, but I was able to today. I just wanted to bring up two things as long as you were discussing the street light there at Pine and Dickinson. Given that the Washington Center is there and there's often meetings and things at night there, that can put a little extra traffic at that spot. Since there's a pole there, I think that's a great idea. But just in the last 2 weeks, I did have two people bring up another safety concern. Maybe it's because of the dwindling daylight. But where the bus drivers park by the old city garage there by the waters and cross over to the bus garage, in the morning time, even as early as 6 when I'm on my way down to the shop, that's very dark there. And even just some bright crossing lines there might help. But traffic on X or Wolf River Avenue, as you know, goes faster than what a normal street would be. But I did have somebody say we really should look at maybe a street light there, and I realize it's just for a select few. But there are about 6 months of the year where there's a number of people that cross there 2 or 3 times a day. And something to think about, even just simple, bright, reflective paint for a crosswalk, which wouldn't cost as much. But then again, this morning, somebody came in, and that one I know is because we're losing daylight time, and some of the drivers are coming in pretty early, and especially the people that open the place up. So something to consider if you're out early in the mornings. That was brought up, but again, got to look at the number of people it affects. But we want our bus drivers to get there safe.
On that same topic, have you heard anything from about the speed limit?
I have not. Fred, have you seen anything?
That will, Casey Beiersdorf, Highway Commissioner, we won't hear it from the state, from the DOT, probably after first year.
After the
Take
first
good
year?
natured time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that might be something worth checking in with Joe Marquardt at the school district office, because I know, I haven't had any bus drivers themselves say anything, but these are people that frequent that road on their way to either Wygga, and they've had some close calls with.
Well, that'll help once the speed limit goes down to 25 too, in that area. So,
Well, it's gonna start before your shop, right at the line, where Muck lands, the city starts, right by the,
It'll start up.
Yeah, that'll help.
yeah.
And that might be just what it
And
takes.
they'll probably put the sign up there with the orange flags to start with.
Paint is cheap when it comes to.
Okay, I guess there's nothing else. I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mike.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Meeting is adjourned.
all right, Trish, can you hear us?
Just gotta turn my microphone on. I can hear you.
Wonderful. Give us just a little bit.
Yep, no problem.
There you go. You want to wait a minute?
Yeah.
Like to call the November Park and Rec meeting to order. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we're going to remove number 5, the authorization to do bid specifications for the video production server upgrades. I did not receive that information yet from the company, so I don't have any information that we can approve yet. So we will push that to the next month.
For a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public input? Nobody here? Okay, Chad, I guess we'll turn it over to Tess.
Yep. Let's see.
See if I can share my screen with you guys today.
Yep, go ahead and try.
All right. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Or is it just me? Hold on. Let me see. Let's try this again. Oh. Can you see it now?
Nope.
Really? Okay. That's interesting. Your entire screen share. Let me do it one more. See if it'll link back in.
Otherwise, let me know and I can
See if it'll.
bring it up like we did last time.
Yeah, see if it'll do an application window. It's not giving me share access, though. It looks like it's grayed out, Chad,
Okay, let me
for some reason.
share mine. And then give you control.
Seems to always have to be that way, but we'll work through it.
All right, you should have control.
Okay. See how that space bar again to advance, right? Or I can do it with my mouse.
Try with the mouse.
Guess I can find out. Or the arrow. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna advance over though.
All right, I can advance it if you just want to start talking.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, well, again, thank you guys for bearing with us again with the technology. Hope you guys are doing okay with the COVID and everything else going on here. But Just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback and maybe do a little bit of a goal building session that I had sent over some sheets, which had to get a little bit of the homework done here. Again, this is a 4-phase process. We are really in phase 2. Where do you want to be? And it's looking at more your vision and what you see for the parks in New London. And then once we get into phase 3, it's really your CIP, your strategy, your action plan, building those recommendations from our goals that we're going to talk about tonight. And then, phase 4 is really just what are your metrics and value, basically adopting the plan. So we're getting there. We're moving quite along here. So, all right, Chad, you can move forward then. Oops, might have to go back one. Oh, I guess you did have it. I wasn't sure what was in the middle there. Okay, so we start off basically with the SWOT analysis that we came in, we asked each one of the board members, strengths, what do you feel it's really a value, what is strong in the city of New London, what are the weaknesses, what are your areas to be improved upon, how can you build upon those weaknesses to maybe create your opportunities, and then really what are the threats out there. So what I ended up doing, Chad gave me a little bit of a compilation of whoever filled out their sheets, and just to kind of go over a few things, and you guys can kind of tell me what you would like to add to this if there's anything. But I'll just read a few of the comments that some of you have filled out. We'll start off with the strengths. So what unique recreational resources does the city have? What do you feel are the strengths? So many of you guys put Wolf and the Embarrassed Rivers are the main strengths out there, bring a great number of tourism, fishermen out there, weekend pleasure boaters to the area. Hatton Park, your biggest community park, the hidden jewel really of the city. You have the outdoor shelters out there, the green space, disc golf course, the horseshoe pits, the tennis courts, and then the walking trails. The other thing we looked at, you guys put down the New London Community Pool, which you're very lucky to have as far as even an indoor pool. The baseball field, Cottrell Field at Hatton, the ball diamonds at Memorial Park and Pfeiffer to support your baseball leagues. And really a strong park and rec system for the size of the city. So you do have quite a few parks out there that accommodate your residents. Along with the indoor gym, senior center, it's another strength. You do have a lot of nature areas in the surrounding Mosquito Hill. Even when you're looking at the rivers, Little Wolf River, even down by Fleeces or Wolf River Trips Campground, a lot of tubing, canoeing, fishing in that area. And then when you guys put down Thurn Farm, that's another historic site out there, and I know they have been gaining more events over the years too. It's very unique farm out there that has a good gathering site. Let's see what else you guys put was more aquatic fitness center, day camp, some of the senior programs, adult programs, and senior transport system. So is there any other strengths that you guys can think of that the city has that I did not mention in that list or that you had on your sheets? I'm not sure how many of you brought your sheets with you tonight.
Trish, I think adding.
Open it up for.
Trish?
Yep.
I think adding the partnerships we have with the with our local clubs and associations in town, that's definitely a strength that we work together.
Sure.
To
okay.
on the system.
Yep. For sure. Yep. Yep. Partnerships are a big deal.
I had down one not enough trails as we're trying to hook up with that Seymour Trail, Blackmore Trail, Seymour Blackmore Trail.
That would be an opportunity then, maybe.
Yeah, maybe an opportunity. Yeah. The next one.
Yeah, and some of your strengths will actually be another opportunity to build upon when you're starting to look at that.
Yeah, John.
Kind of see here too, as long as we're talking positive, we'll go back to the weaknesses in a little bit here. But yeah, as far as opportunities, more biking trails, more maybe off-road biking, not necessarily on the road, but more safe connections around the town, around the city and businesses. And then it looked like a few people put down marketing. I know Casey's out there working the video, but still continue, I guess, with the marketing. There's a lot of opportunity for advertisement, bringing in a lot of value to the parks and what they have to offer. Tourism, there's another thing where you guys can pinpoint, really, really gear that to even kayaking. That was your last discussion too when you guys had your meeting. Building in those silent sports, program guides, seasonal programs, facilities, and rentals. And then maybe even working with the Chamber of Commerce are good opportunities that I can see for this city. Anything else that you guys can think of as far as either a strength or an opportunity that you would like to see for the city in the park system?
For opportunities, as obviously our financial cost and effectiveness is always going to be a challenge for us. I just thought, we've got a lot of great partnership, but possibly some more private funding, either from corporations or those groups. One thing that comes to mind, Trish, I know you helped walk the village of Hortonville through this. An example of that would be the Hortonville Civic Club that is really putting, now it's going to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars into Miller Park along Black Otter Lake. But
Yep.
I think it's something we can maybe tap into a little more. And on that same note, as far as our staff is limited, on our ground streets, maybe get back to that day where I know it's kind of a pain, paperwork wise, but maybe we can start tapping into more community service work. Kills me to see a 20-year veteran out there with a little grass picking up candy bar wrappers when we have lots of young people that need to do community service. Maybe identify those supervisors or those volunteers that can keep those people on task. But those are some opportunities I think we can probably utilize more.
Sure.
Help supplement our staffing. I'm sure there's people that we can have us help water flowers and different things that if staffing is an issue in the future.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys are Bird City USA. Do you still have the city gardener that kind of helps out with some of the habitat or some of the landscaping out there yet?
We have a seasonal gardener that takes care of all the flower beds like that.
Yep. Yeah. So that could be another opportunity as far as maybe helping to get volunteers to actually assist with some of those things. I know even with, I suppose, the Bluebird boxes, you got, the Scouts groups and different things that could also assist with those. That kind of goes back with your partnerships and everything else. Okay. Okay. Anything else on strengths and opportunities? Otherwise, we'll kind of look at the weaknesses and threats.
I'd like to add one, brought up this community service work. I kind of was thinking about having that added to our website as far as a community service. Some people asked where they can go to get information for that. So I started to seek out some opportunities and ideas, and the chamber has that on their website. I talked with April Kapitsky, and they do have a link on their website for that.
Okay. Yeah, definitely a good idea. And maybe that can be marketed too a little bit more as you do maybe a spring cleanup or a fall cleanup, and get some of the kids active in that. Get them outside into nature and give them something to do besides, getting into trouble and I guess and everything else. But yeah, for sure. Okay. We'll add those in. Looking at weaknesses, we asked what could the city improve its parks and how can the city improve its parks and rec facilities? Where do you have fewer facilities than others? Where is it likely to see your recreational weaknesses out there? So I know you're starting to look at possibly revitalizing the downtown area. It's starting to come back, I think, from a long time ago. Trying to get that river in there is really as a revitalization, having the boaters and residents. You want the visitors to come there to shop, to eat, hang out in the city, enjoy the green space that's right even on Main Street there. You have a lot of parks and, the river walk that actually goes through there. So trying to maybe market that a little bit more, bringing that out into the open a little bit is, helping out with the chamber, I guess could really bring that out again with the weakness as you're looking at revitalization within the downtown area. I think we've talked about Hatton Park. It's one of the older gems that are out there, but probably does need a little bit of upkeep. Looking at those walking trails, I know people would like to have some of that stuff cleaned up. A few repairs to the trails itself. You do have the stone wall that's out there. That's probably something else to kind of look at as far as a recommendation. Maybe upkeeping the volleyball court a little bit better. And then cross-country ski trails, make sure that they're kind of groomed out there, maybe even run an event. Same thing with even you could have snowshoe, which might be another thing, and kind of link that in even with the sledding hill as far as a winter activity. And then I guess overall, restrooms are always a big topic when you're looking at weaknesses. There's always improvements, I guess, that could be made with those. You do have some older facilities out there that are definitely struggling a little bit. And then it's more of, obviously, when you do look at those improvements, make sure they're all ADA accessibility in there to follow the Title III. Bringing in more silent sports, adding in, more of the bicycling, walking, hiking, kayaking, canoeing, that type of thing I could see. And then getting that connection. You guys had mentioned the Newton Blackmore Trail, getting those extensions in there, finishing off that long contract, I guess, with the DNR, trying to get that all completed. Let me see what else somebody had in here. JC's Dog Park, maybe looking at possible water or a restroom facility down there. That would definitely be ideal. Not sure if it's feasible. I guess that would be something to look at, but that is definitely a weakness when people are bringing their pets down there. Vandalism, that's always, something that you gotta have to watch. Could actually put up, more cameras in some of the parks, trying to catch everybody. You're not really going to, but having some of the cameras in there might slow that down a little bit more. Increasing some of the program numbers, trying to get people more involved, possibly to sign up for some of the programs. Showing the value of the park system, that's another big topic. You're starting to look at maybe economic impact. Parks are usually the last thing on the priority list as far as budget items. So, if you can show what parks are bringing in as far as tourism dollars, that actually will give you more value of the park itself or of the park system and why people want to come to New London. Let's see, better alternative to the Ignite building, possibly fitness center, and it looks like youth programs and instructors, day camp supervisors, better expertise on that. So that was kind of the list that you guys had given me on that. That was for weaknesses. Is there anything else that I missed that is kind of standing out to you, or did we cover everything on that?
I think that's good.
Okay. Move on to threats real quick. Again, what is harming your city's recreational areas? What can you be doing better than your competition? Threats to the Park and Rec Department. The biggie obviously is always going to be your budget shortfalls, your staffing, doing more with less, trying to figure that out. That's always a challenge. And with that challenge, you also have increasing expectations of your staff to get everything done in the completed time. There's always going to be people out there that are on social media that aren't going to like something, but you can't please everybody. So social media critics are always there. Let's see, unfunded mandates, possibly aging facilities. So there could be a phased-in approach as far as replacing them. I know you guys got the new playground in there just recently, so having some of these older facilities phased out just for safety concerns, that's another thing as far as it could be a threat. Programs and facilities to show the community value again. That's kind of goes along with your weakness as far as the threat to getting in more dollars for the parks, which I would probably even recommend doing an economic impact study to show the worth of that. So that's probably a really good recommendation. And looks like need or more trained better part-time staff. So again, that probably goes along with your seasonal staff. I know it's tough even to get lifeguards in. You got some of the college kids and different things like that. I think somebody even mentioned, is it possible to even have a training course on lifeguarding even in the high school for credits? So, a lot of opportunities to really, maybe X out those threats and bring those to the surface here. So anything else that you guys can think of, or did we pretty much cover it all?
Yeah.
Looks like everybody's nodding their head.
I guess you guys are also quiet. We did pretty good then.
Had everything we had on our list.
I guess that's good. All right. So if you go to the next slide, Chad, I think this was the SMART goals. And what I like to do is kind of build off of the SWOT analysis a little bit and just gets a little bit more into the detail as far as getting into the goals. So, the SWOT analysis really is kind of the backbone of the goals, but it's also part of our recommendations once we move into that action building process, which I've already done quite a bit of already, but even tonight, that's going to help me finish off that chapter and get that into the action program. But as far as the SMART goals, that was the second sheet that we had you guys fill out. And really, you're looking at the 7-10 rule, I guess is how I present it. So you want to make sure your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So that's really the importance of why we have goals and objectives in any of our plans. And when we're talking about Park and Rec, those are the 5, but then we want to come down and break it down even further into 7 different categories. So when we're talking the park system and trails, we look at health and fitness. What are the variety of the activities that are offered out there? Starting to look at conservation, your natural areas, your accessibility, ADA, obviously, and design. Again, your partnerships, so that all comes in again for your strength and cost effectiveness with the financials. So, getting that budget and then just providing a good quality of life, wanting people to move to the area. So, looking at that sheet, I will just go through it real quick here and just kind of let you know what we ended up coming up with as far as the responses that I had collected that Chad had sent over. I think we only got 4 of them, but if you have more, I would urge you to give those over to Chad and we can tally those for the final plan. but I'll just cover a little bit as far as what people had put down for each one of those topics. For the average assessment score for health and fitness, and this is 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest, 7.7 overall. So there's always room for improvement. The reason, a variety of adult and senior programs, you had great exercise programs, but maybe there's a little bit more maybe on the food diet end of things. Mental health will probably be a big thing now with COVID coming in there. So that might be another program to kind of think about. Providing economical ways to stay active is important for the community health. So that was pretty much, I think, for the health and fitness. Variety came in at 8. So again, out of 10. Summer season offers great variety. Maybe need more for the off seasons, more winter programming, more marketing for that. But you did have a lot that offers people with different interests, different age groups, lots of potential in the city parks for really both the winter and summer months. I think you just need to market a little bit more for the winter. So that's probably why we got that 8.0 score on that. Then we moved down to conservation, 7.75 when I broke it out as far as the average went. Again, Tree and Bird City USA, that also helps with any grants that you're filling out. So that's kind of plays against, with the stewardship funding, you do get extra points because the city is part of those programs. You do want to keep eye on, any invasive species that are out there in your natural areas. Make sure you're replacing those trees out there, cleaning up what's needed. It's good in the areas as far as the outskirts, but again, you still have some urban parks that you could still actually have some conservation in as well. And even in the greater New London area, as far as the Embarrass Wolf River, you got the Sturgeon Trail that's out there too that could be more educational for the youth, just giving them a little bit more of an insight on what's actually out in nature. So even a nature walk, going through there with the conservation. And then we drop down to accessibility and design. Again, another score of 8 out of that 10. New playgrounds are great. Going in, phasing out all those older facilities, definitely need to do that. Accessible programming, utilizing by a variety of people, as well as the different age groups in there. May want to look at the registration process, could be reevaluated. Maybe there's another software out there, Chad, that could be a little bit easier for people to use. You never know. Something maybe to research as a recommendation. Great green spaces, ball diamonds. And then again, obviously any new facilities that would have to go in has to be ADA compliant and accessible to all. Partnerships got a score of 8.67. Good relationship again with all your groups and service clubs that are out there. Even Mosquito Hill on the fringe, good partner with Outagamie County. Kind of promoting. It's definitely a great piece of property out there to go hiking, and it's right here in the area, so it's another thing to kind of market even with that part of it. Great partnership with your nonprofits, businesses out there have made, a lot of improvements to your parks. And I see it around the cities. I grew up there. My dad still lives there. I was just there yesterday. I mean, I see a lot of different things, a lot of good changes going on, even, being in my home city, my hometown right there. So there's a lot of potential, even with the schools, getting them out there, getting the kids interested with the green space and the rivers that you guys have going on. And then coming down to your financials, cost effectiveness got an 8.33. Again, your budget, you want to make sure everything's feasible. It's pretty tough to keep that balance. You want to break even on those costs and not go into the red. So that's definitely something to kind of keep aware of, but sounds like you guys have been doing fairly well with that. And then coming down to the quality of life, your leisure travel, that got an 8.8. Again, Chamber of Commerce was nominated for Quality of Life Awards, I guess, in the last 2 years, which I didn't know. That's awesome. 2019 to 2020. So you got boating, fishing, skiing, all the season sports out there. Again, promote it. Get those ads out there. Get that video working. But again, your economic development and bringing that tourism in. So yeah, really. I mean, as far as looking at all these, looking at what the goals assessment's going to bring you, the overall average score from the city of New London with the 710, now that we look at it, is 8.1. So still room for improvement, but you guys are really right on that edge. So I think the city is really doing well with all those topics that we're pulling in there. So if you go to the next slide, Chad, these are just 5 goals that will be written into the chapter 2 of the plan. And these are a little bit generic, but I think I'm gonna put a little bit more detail in now that we've talked about a few of these things. So really, it's broken down to really what we just talked about with the SMART goals. So your goal 1 is your community-wide, getting that variety, providing that adequate services out there, your opportunities. And that links along with your health, your variety, your accessibility, quality of life, the partnership, and the cost. So it's all linking those things together. Goal 2 is really your programming, getting those services and all those needs met for all those ages out there. So again, variety, health, partners, cost, quality of life. Goal 3, looking again at your trails. Hear a lot about that. Very, very uptrendy, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's even a word, but we see it all the time where trails are really hot these days as far as into the park and rec field. But again, your health, variety out there, keep it accessible, working with your partners, the costs and the quality of life all kind of factors in with that goal number 3. Goal number 4 are your shorelines. Really looking at that riverside green space. You have a lot of city-owned property along the rivers. So just making sure that you're keeping that restored. That fits in again with your conservation partnerships and even the health as far as being next to a waterway. It's great to actually bring that into the same health area. And then goal number 5 is really your partnerships and cooperation with all the local groups. It sounds like you guys are doing great with that. So again, your partners, costs, and even bringing in that variety. And with these possible goals, what I'll end up doing, we'll pull these goals in with your recommendations, and that will give us a good list as far as why we're making those recommendations in our action plan. So once we start looking at every single one of your parks, why are we recommending some of these things? Well, it's going to go back to the goals and the goal building that we just did. So that's kind of a synopsis. I don't know if you guys have any quick questions on that, but that is really what I got out of what you had provided me. And that's not just even tonight, that's for all the times that we've been kind of meeting here, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here with the plan. Did you have any feedback, questions, concerns, other comments that you would like to make?
Is there any other specific goals that Tristan talked about that you guys would like to see as a proposal?
The, one of them that I had written down, and I don't know where it fits in the presentation, but I kind of put it under conservation or natural. But in the north side, I thought that, we kind of lack amenities on the north side. We do have that beautiful acreage out there. Well, some of it's wetland, but there's virtually no access to that I know of, and that's something I think that is an attainable goal. And there's no shortage of wood chips in our city the last couple weather years bad. So that's something I think is an attainable goal. and would
Okay.
really give us something on that north side. So that came up a few places in here, on my stuff I'm gonna hand in.
Perfect. Yeah, fill that void, basically. Yeah, there's a lot of multifamily that's up in that area. Yeah, it is a nice piece of property when you're actually looking at it. Um, so yeah, I mean, as far as the needs assessment goes, what you guys have even as land mass, when we looked at level of service analysis, there's plenty of space available to even look at keeping that as a conservation, but even developing part of that so that, walking trails or different things like that in the future. But that could definitely be a great goal. Great point.
If anybody else has any of the paperwork that you want to give it to me, I'll send it to Trish tomorrow.
Yep, that would be perfect. And I'll compile them in. I don't believe that the numbers would change too much. You're looking at probably an overall score of that 8 to 9 range within the goal.
Yeah, and another area that we were looking at too, we were gonna actually go there tonight, but the way the meetings were going, we're not, is
Yeah,
area that's up behind the Floor Hill Cemetery. And that's a beautiful area up there, and we're looking at getting a bike trail up there. So that's
That's
something
right.
in the future.
Okay. Yeah, they used to ride dirt bikes, I think, back there, way back in the day. Used to be an old quarry, I thought, at one time, as far as I remember, back in the 70s. Now I'm dating myself, but yeah. Yeah, you could do a nice pump track or something out there for some mountain bikes. That would be great. Okay,
Anything, Mike?
perfect.
Anybody else got anything? I guess that's all we got, Trish, unless you got something else you want to tell us.
Nope. Just the next phase. I'm going to take everything that we talked about tonight and put in those recommendations in the action plan. Maybe I will. I don't know if you have your current CIP, Chad, done with the budget. I would assume you guys are pretty close to having that done.
Pretty close, not quite there yet.
Okay. So yeah, when you get to that point, I can take a look at it and make sure that what you guys have in your current CIP will match up with the action plan and the goals and the recommendations that we're working on with the Corp. But yeah, we're pretty much in the final stretch here. I think it's going to be more of now just putting the plan together and just having having the board review it at this point. So yeah. Yeah, lots of things I think happening in London, and it's great to see that. But really, that's all I got tonight, Chad. Pretty good information, though, I think.
Wonderful. Any other questions for Trish before we move on?
Thank you, Trish.
Thanks, Trish.
Yep, appreciate the time, guys. Yep, thank you.
Hey, Chad, you want to consider the authorization for the roofing?
So, let's see. I think I'm on the wrong agenda here. Let me get the right agenda up. So we've worked with Industrial Roofing Services in the past, and if you remember in the last bonding that was approved, we had roof projects proposed for replacement here at the municipal building. It would be the roof right above you right now and right above the offices and part of the fire department bays on the municipal building. It would include all the police department and then also the northern half of the library museum, which is the old section of the library museum over there. So I asked Industrial Roofing Services to give me the proposals with that. In your packet are those proposals, and I would ask the committee to approve us hiring Industrial Roofing Services to start the design and bid specifications for those 3 facilities, unless you have any questions.
I look for a motion to accept that.
I'll make a motion to move forward and hire IRS for creating design and bid specifications for the 3 roofing projects.
All in favor?
Who second that?
Tom. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And we were eliminating number 5, you said.
Correct.
So review and recommend to council the 2021 part-time seasonal wage schedule.
In your packet was the 2021 draft part-time seasonal wage schedule. There's pretty much no changes from 2021, so I can't even go through and recommend or show you a change. So we're just looking at pushing over the exact same schedule into 2021.
You want to recommend to approve it, or is it just going to,
It goes to council, so recommending the council.
okay, look for a recommendation to approve the part-time seasonal wage schedule?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, director's report.
Let's see, years of service, Ginger Arndt, our recreation
Oh.
superintendent, 18 years as of October 28th. So she's
Oh.
been here a long time. She started at the pool as the assistant aquatics manager and then came over onto the rec side and has been in the rec side ever since and been with the city for 18 years. So
Oh,
awesome. We congratulate her on that.
congratulations to her.
And then also not in my report, but you probably have maybe seen up in my staff minutes. Bob Esau, Dave Morak, myself, and the mayor were interviewing our student candidates, and our next student candidate, Rachel Schuler, who is listening right now. I can see she's an attendee, so we'll all wave at Rachel and congratulate her for being nominated and awarded the position. She's going to be our next student representative on the Parks and Rec Committee. So the mayor is going to nominate her or appoint her
Appoint her.
at the next council meeting next week. And then Rachel will be on the committee with us next month.
Just want to say they were all good candidates. It was hard to make a decision.
Yes.
Yep. So Rachel, will expect you to be, we welcome you and are excited to meet you and bring you back in next month. So thanks. That's all I got.
I don't have anything. Committee members report? Anybody got anything? Next month agenda items, Chad?
We were talking about going to Floral Hill tonight, but with the 3 meetings in a row and we can see it's dark already, obviously that didn't happen. So I don't know if next month, if we're going to get to it, if we do it early enough, but it's going to get dark pretty quick. So I don't know if we're going to be able to go to the
Quarter
site.
to 5,
behind
you
Floral
never
Hill.
make it.
Yeah, we would have to do way early
Have
or
flashlights?
Right.
bring
Yeah,
flashlights.
lantern. Have a lantern walk.
Yeah. So other than that, we might continue the conversation, but to go on a tour might be next spring
Yeah.
before we can get out there. That's all I got.
Anybody got anything else?
Just a recommendation for that maybe the young man who was proposing it has a video capability or something, and maybe kind of just do some footage, or we can look at it through aerial maps, GIS stuff,
Sure.
existing old log paths or whatever. Or maybe we can just take a from above look and maybe a quick little tromp through there with a short video clip. Maybe we can look at it that way in case the young man comes back with some kind of plan. We have that.
I wonder if
Just a suggestion.
we could use Casey a little bit too to video that.
I was just gonna ask if you guys authorize me to strap the camera to my helmet, and then you're gonna authorize me to go out there and have some fun and either Casey or I can do it. But
a
yeah, we can go out
GoPro
there
or
and
something like that, I mean, it's beautiful.
you
time.
won't
like
get the
that
video.
idea.
You won't get the video of me falling. No, but maybe we can do something like that. Casey and I can
Yeah.
look at that.
I like that idea. Like you said, John, in case he comes back, because we did challenge him to put his end together and maybe we can't make that trip out there, but I agree.
Yeah.
Get something advancement on that.
Obviously, I'd say within the next couple of weeks, because once deer hunting comes, you don't want to be going back.
Yeah,
through
and snow flying and all that kind of stuff.
Wasn't he going to bring something back to us?
Well, we did talk to him about putting a committee together, an agenda
Yeah.
and
I thought
seeing
he
what he
would
come back with. Yeah.
I thought he said he was going to bring a plan back with us, or what he
Yeah.
thought would work.
That and he was gonna go get some other kids that were
Sure,
with him
sure.
and kind of get a group together. Yep.
And I see you had on there, the ticket machines are all ready to go and stuff, huh?
Ticket machines are ready to go, except on the back end, we just got to get the credit card thing linked. But the machines have been tested, so they work. We're going to keep them inside over the winter, so they're not going to be installed on the pedestals. But once we should be ready to go in the spring. We've got all winter to test that credit card link and get that rocking. So, yeah, Michelle's going to love it because she won't have to rip open hundreds and hundreds of envelopes anymore and count dollar bills. And
Look for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
thanks all. Mike, you going to stop on down then?
I'm at the utilities. I'll drive down there. I'll be there in a few minutes.